Citizens Forum is the next item. This is not the time the presenters will make their presentation, but if you are just here to speak in favor of an organization, you may speak during the Citizens Forum. Persons desiring to address the council must limit their presentation to no more than 2 minutes. Unless an item is posted on the agenda, the Texas Open Meetings Act prohibits the council from responding to any comments other than to refer the matter to a future agenda, to an existing policy, or to a staff person with specific factual information. Claims against the city, council members, or employees, as well as individual personal appeals, are not appropriate for Citizens Forum. If necessary, the City Council may convene into executive session under Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code regarding any item on this agenda. The public forum is now open. If you'd like to speak, please come forward and give your name and address. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Patsy Davis, and I represent the Lamar County Historical Society Museum and have for many years. We are not requesting funds this year, so I'm just here to let you know that we're doing well. We had to close for several months because of COVID and because of non-COVID related illnesses on the part of some of our key workers. We have a couple of really good things going now, project with some of our community friends, and then a second project that's really special. A young man who's a student at Brigham Young University, Idaho, is here for an internship and will be at the museum from now till Christmas. And of course, I told him he could learn more in one day there than he could in 6 weeks in class, but we're so glad to have him. And I wanted to thank you for all you have done for us in the past. We couldn't have done it without the city and without your help and encouragement. And I encourage you to come see us. We are the only museum in the world that's totally dedicated to the preservation and of our artifacts about Paris and Lamar County. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis, and thank you for all you've done. Anyone else wishing to speak? All right, seeing none, the public forum is now closed. Item number 3 is to receive presentations from nonprofit agencies requesting funding for public purpose, and we rank agencies for priority and discuss and act on requests. Mr. Path?
Yes. As you know, this last year we passed a new policy. This policy is designed to guide us systematically through the selection, the review, discussion, selection, and awarding of funding to contract for nonprofit agencies. Again, as you know, for the past several years, we have funded several nonprofits through our budget each year. That was usually done through the city manager's office. Of course, being my first year last year, I went ahead and did that process last year, but I determined, and with having talked to some of you individually, that this is a process best suited for the city council to review that and approve that. So we developed this policy you have in front of you, and we are here tonight to carry it out. So my goal to start off here is to kind of just review the policy in preparation for tonight. I won't go over every detail, just kind of hit the main highlights to help kind of guide us tonight. And then I will turn to the group and behind me and kind of give them some quick instructions as we go forward with this evening here. So again, in the policy, the purpose of the policy is to again, contract with nonprofits in the pursuit of public purposes that benefit the community where the services provided by such nonprofit organizations cannot be reasonably or cost-effectively provided by the city. That's the overall goal of this policy here. Sometimes these entities, they can do things that we could do, but they do it better, more efficiently, and that's just what they do. And so it works well that we partner with them in the effort of performing these tasks. Now, with this also, it shall be the intent of the City Council that priority consideration will be given to requests that mirror and or complement a service provided by the City of Paris and or perform a public benefit that is believed to be more cost-effective and efficient than had the city done. So basically what I just said there. So Now, with this, the reason we have a policy here is a lot of tough decisions have to be made tonight, and we do have more requests than we have funds, and so we do unfortunately have to turn some away tonight. That is always a sad part of this process, but we are dealing with taxpayer money, and so just like when we set our budget, we have to be good stewards of that money here. So we do have to set caps on this process here. So I would just like to say to all of our nonprofits here today, we would like to thank you all for what you do. I got to speak into the mic here so you can hear me. And we thank you for what you're doing and for our community. And we do wish that we could help all of you, but unfortunately with limited funds, we have to set limits with that. But we do like to thank you for being here tonight. So with this process here, in a nutshell, we sent out an advertisement. We accepted applications. City staff then went about reviewing the applications per our policy. Stephanie Harris, city attorney, and myself, working with our staff, we reviewed them for compliance, for the application for public purposes, and we have determined that everything in front of you tonight does satisfy the public purpose portion under state law. And so, whether it be through general purpose and what the entity does, or for specific needs, we have determined that the request made tonight by each entity does meet that purpose, and so we are good with that going forward tonight. And we would have identified those to you ahead of time if we had seen issue with that. Some of the limits we have, some of the policy parameters we have to work with tonight is one of the parameters is the request could not be more than 25% of their budget. Again, part of our policy thinking there is the taxpayer should not fund a nonprofit for themselves. We want to work with them and partner with them. That's why we put a 25% cap on these requests here of their budgets. We also said that whatever we do tonight cannot commit us to future years. This needs to be a year by year request, and so every request that complies with that is a one-time request tonight. Then they'll come back again next year for another request if they so wish. In our budget, we did set aside $100,000 for this purpose tonight. That is our cap. We do have some wiggle room if we need to. We have, in our policy, we set aside another $5,000 if necessary. Now we budget for $100,000. If we need to, we can find that other $5,000 if necessary. But otherwise, we budgeted in the budget you passed on Monday night for public hearing purposes in September. We set aside $100,000. So that is the number we're trying to stick to tonight. And then again, the city attorney had to review each application for a public purpose, and that's been done. And lastly, I skipped this one here. The nonprofits are capped at a $15,000 request. That's all that we can authorize per applicant by our policy. So now for tonight, the process we have here, just items we have to go through tonight is the city council may debate the merits of any and all applications up front, but shall, at the same city council meeting as individual council members, rank each individual application in order of recommended priority discussions. What that means is, in front of you, you're going to have a little scorecard. So after we hear the presentations tonight, you can then take some time to discuss as a body what you heard tonight, pros, cons. Basically, it's discussion time amongst the council, and then at some point along that process, you will then decide, okay, now we're ready to score this. So you will then take the scorecard and you will rank these in the order of what you individually think should be the order that we should talk about. And so we will then take a short recess once you've ranked those. Janice and I will then tally them up, and those that scored the highest will be talked about first. And so with that process, then, you will then go through systematically in the order of consensus with the ranking and decide whether to fund or not fund an entity in order of ranking with that. And so does that make sense? And stop me at any point that you have questions with this.
I have a question.
Yes, please. Yep.
Are we allowed to make modifications to the request?
Yes, and so yes, that's one thing you can do here. One modification you can make is you can award a lesser amount if you so wish, and again, that's what you would do when you get to that item on the ranking scorecards. Say you're talking about nonprofit XYZ, and they were ranked third in the list. When you get past 1 and 2, you get down to XYZ, which is number 3. You would then say, you know what, I would recommend as a council that instead of 15,000 requests, we only do 10,000. Here's my reasons why. And then the council can debate that. And then you can make a motion on that. If it fails, you go back to the $15,000 number, and then you debate that at that point. But otherwise, if it passes, you move on to item 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. And so, otherwise, I would not try. I'd recommend we not try to amend what they've requested. There's a lot of work behind this, and so obviously they put a lot of thought and effort into the request. There could be some room there, but that can get pretty complex in a meeting tonight. Try to negotiate. Why don't you cut this out or do this instead? And so I just probably prefer that we just stick to dollar amounts, just to be straightforward. And so does that help? Okay. Yep. And if you get to the point you have a question and the process, we'll address it at that point. So, again, if you do decide as you're going through the list, you decide that you get to an item and you individually think, you know what, they've asked for $15,000, but I'm more comfortable with $10,000. Share that with each other, discuss that, and then if you want to make a motion on that, you can. Otherwise, you have to go back to the $15,000 figure. Now, the way our policy is written here is you cannot pass an item, you cannot pass an entity until you voted yes or no on the entity. And so that we're trying to maintain some process to this. The point being, we don't want to say, let's skip this one and then come back to it later. No, we need to address this systematically. Item 1, yes or no. Item 2, yes or no. 3, yes or no, and go forth from there. Again, we have 6 tonight, usually 7 council members. You all have different opinions, different thoughts, and so the policy here is designed to help us navigate through those different opinions as best as we can. So. Then at the very end, we will be tallying as we go along, and once we hit $100,000, we will then stop the process, and we will have to be done at that point. And so, because we've hit our cap. All right. Any questions about the process with that for tonight? Okay. Now, to our nonprofits tonight, again, we reached out to all you. Please try to keep it to about 5 minutes tonight. We will have a timer, and we won't just stop you necessarily, but we do ask that you please try to keep it to the 5 minutes, and then when you hit that 5-minute mark, try to wrap it as fast as you can. There's 12 entities tonight, so we'll be here all night, and so we're trying to be respectful of each other's time there. There will be some time for some Q&A after your 5-minute presentation. And so you don't have to build that into your presentation. You can do 5 minutes and then Q&A with the council if they so wish to do that. When you come up here, you can take your mask off. That way they can hear you better. If you have a PowerPoint, please get with John McFadden in the back. He's in the room back there. And so if you have a PowerPoint, even ahead of time, go see him and he can get you set up with that. And otherwise, if you didn't bring that, that's okay too. I had a handout on the table back there. We do have an order for tonight. I just did alphabetical order, and so if you have that handout, please see your step there. So the first one will be CASA for Kids. Will be the first one up, and then we'll go down alphabetically from there. So, very good. Any questions or? Okay.
I think we're good.
All right. With this, I will turn over to CASA for Kids. Will be our first entity. So.
Thank you, Mr. Path.
Good evening.
Hi.
I'm Diane Stegall. I am the chair of our CASA for Kids for Lamar, Delta, and Red River counties. Sharon Eubanks, who is our executive director, is ill and could not be here tonight, and so she called me this morning and she said, would you please go in my place? And we also have Bob Bush, who is on our board with us tonight. We are here to help you understand maybe what CASA is and why we made our request. Our purpose is to help children who have been removed from their home that are in foster care. So those children have to have they need an advocate, someone who can talk for them in court and can visit with their teachers, their parents, their grandparents, the foster parent, with the child themselves and see what their needs are. And so because there are so many people involved in that child's life when they're in foster care, our office is kind of lots of people in and out. And there's training that has to go on for parents whose children are in foster care and also for those foster parents. So we have a lot of traffic in our office. And due to the weather conditions we've had recently, our parking lot is a mess. It's fallen apart. And we get money from state organizations, grants that we write. We, try and get monies from lots of different places, but they have strings attached. You can spend that money in certain ways, and a lot of our physical upkeep is not included in that money that we receive. We also do a fundraiser once a year. It's called Fall for CASA, and that is where we do raise money to help with some of those extra needs. But again, those needs go for the children. That's why we raise that money. And so our parking lot is in dire need of assistance, and so we did recommend and ask you for $10,000 to help us redo our parking lot so that those people who are helping those children in foster care don't tear up their cars, and that we can do the repairs that need to be done so that our parking lot is in a shape that the traffic that does come and go from our office to help those children can be a nice place that they can come to. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of Diane? Okay. Next is the Children's Advocacy Center.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Peavy. I am the Executive Director of the Children's Advocacy Center of Paris. We serve Lamar and Red River County. We're a nonprofit organization that also works in the realm of child abuse. And many times CASA and us are sometimes confused with each other, so we always have a way that we extinguish each other, whereas we kind of did this backwards tonight, actually. So Children's Advocacy Center, we work at the very beginning of a child abuse investigation, and I'll explain how we do that in a moment. And then if a child is put into foster care, then CASA comes and helps those children once they're in foster care. So we all work in the same population, but do very different things. The way the Children's Advocacy Center operates is we facilitate restoration and healing to child abuse victims by creating and facilitating a multidisciplinary team approach to the child abuse investigation. We also provide critical services that the children need as they're going through a child abuse investigation. So what does all that mean? That means that we're bringing together all the agencies that are investigating child abuse, local law enforcement, child protective services, the district attorney's office, juvenile probation, medical professionals, mental health professionals, so that all those agencies are working together, sharing information, coordinating tasks and interviews and things like that, so that all children are getting basically the best decisions for each child. And then we're providing those critical services they need, so we're the ones that provide what's called a forensic interview. It's that first interview that is designed to sit down with the child and ask, are these allegations true? Is something going on? These interviews are done by our staff, by trained neutral professionals that are designed to talk with the child and let them tell their story of abuse in their own words, in their own way. From there, we offer therapy that is free of charge to the clients, to the child victims, as well as their non-offending family members. The therapy is designed to address all the trauma, unfortunately, that has happened to them. So those feelings of anger and shame and just a lot of complex feelings and thoughts. We also provide victim advocacy services, so educating non-offending family members about crime victims compensation, about how a child abuse investigation, even like how the process works, what happens if a child goes to court or a criminal case goes to court. Being there to give information about updates on case status and things like that, just kind of being the in-between between law enforcement, CPS, and that family. The Children's Advocacy Centers, there's 70 across the state of Texas, but we are all our own entity. We all have our own board of directors. Children's Advocacy Centers are mandated in the Texas Family Code to be a part of the child abuse investigation process. So the most severe cases of child abuse are mandated to be worked through a Children's Advocacy Center and through a multidisciplinary team. We have requested $12,500 every year for the past 10 years, and you've been very gracious to give that to us. That money goes to help fund our program. About 90% of our program and our operating expenses are covered by grants, both state and federal grants, but there is about 10% there that is we're not able to cover through grants. And so we request money from City of Paris, Lamar County Commissioner's Court, even Red River County to help meet that extra 10%. Last year we had probably our second highest year ever. We served over 350 children. Our average is around 250, 275. Any child that has an allegation of any sexual abuse, severe physical abuse, witness to domestic violence, neglect, or are living in homes where drugs are being used, manufactured, or sold, come through the Children's Advocacy Center. Even during COVID, we continue to provide services. The governor's office mandated Children's Advocacy Centers as essential personnel. If you think about it, Child Protective Services, law enforcement can't stop their investigation if an interviewer can't do the interview of a child. So we were deemed essential personnel to continue working, even during COVID. We are very grateful for all the support you give us. I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
You're located on Pine Bluff
Yes, ma'am.
in the two-story house?
Yes, and we actually have the red brick two-story house right next to it.
Yeah, I actually participated in an interview with the child there, and y'all do an amazing job. I've done that before several years ago.
Thank you.
Y'all do forensic interviewing as well?
Yes, that's the initial interview with the child to figure out, and it's more of a fact-finding interview, separate from counseling. But we do both.
Isn't the purpose of the Children's Advocacy Center to help the child tell their story the least number of times as possible and relive that trauma? Isn't that right?
Yes, that's actually how the center, the idea of a Children's Advocacy Center first started. Through that, I think about 20, 30 years ago when the first Children's Advocacy Center started, that was the idea, was that they were going to tell their story to a trained professional and never have to tell it in court. Through a bunch of court decisions, Supreme Court decisions, they now still have to many times testify in court, but ultimately they're still in the investigation process, only having to talk to that one trained forensic interviewer. So we, in many ways, law enforcement, CPS, depend on us to do their interviews. I hope I answered that question. Yes, that was a short answer.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Peavy. Next is City Square.
Good evening. We're so grateful to be here requesting funding from this council. My name is Maggie Kirby, and I chair, let me take this off, our advisory council here at City Square Paris. I'm joined by several of our board members as well as staff members tonight. That's our video. I'm going to play a short video here in a second that gives an overview of how City Square Paris fights poverty in our community. We have our own programming, of course, and we also partner with 13 local organizations to offer their programming in our facility, one of which is the City of Paris. In 2018, we signed an agreement with the City of Paris, which you'll have a copy of in our application, to use our building rent-free as a community recreational center. Your staff has hosted weekly bingo games, not classes, health education classes, book clubs, cooking classes, walk and talks, and prior to COVID, we had extensive plans to go ahead and add more programming. Of course, those plans got a little derailed. The city also hosts summer youth camps for the last 3 summers. In 2020, we had 72 youth participants, and many of those participants come multiple camps throughout the summer. And City Square offers scholarships for anyone that requests them for those summertime camps. Today, we are requesting funding to cover a portion of our utilities and offset those scholarships that we do offer. So far this year, neighbors have come to our facility over 2,900 times, and we cannot continue to serve the citizens of Paris without our facility up and running. While in the past we've shared some utility expenses with Oak Park United Methodist Church, due to their recent closing, we have inherited the entire property for our use, but we have also inherited 100% of all of the bills. Like many nonprofits, our grant dollars are tied to very specific things like food for children. They often do not cover utility bills, which is why we're requesting that today. A large portion of those utility costs are keeping our gym cool during the summer months, which of course directly affects the city's ability to utilize that gym, as well as our front lawn and other parts of our building for those summer camps and the rec center. Any awarded funds would be used towards utility costs directly connected to summer camps and rec center, or to costs that are clearly a public benefit. For example, electricity, water, and gas costs for our free showers, our free laundry facilities, as well as our warming and cooling stations that we offer 9 to 6 every weekday, which of course came into play big time this past February. So I'll turn it over to the video and welcome any questions at the end. Welcome to City Square Paris. My name is Maggie Kirby and I chair our local advisory council. For the past 4 years, City Square Paris has served this community by fighting the causes and effects of poverty through service, advocacy, and friendship. The global COVID pandemic has brought so much change to our personal and professional lives. Yet with your collaboration and commitment, here at City Square Paris, we are reminded that community never stops. The impact the past year and a half has had on our neighbors is significant, making the fight to end poverty more challenging than ever. However, our doors remained open to neighbors needing assistance through case management at our Neighbor Support Center. Last year, over 105 bikes were distributed, and neighbors utilized our free showers and free laundry facilities 886 times. Every day, families come shop in our free clothes and toy closet, and our Welcome Home program provides a bed, mattress, and basic household goods to those graduating from our local shelters into a home. Since opening in January 2020, 148 teenagers have attended our after-school teen center. These teens received a healthy snack, a warm dinner, help with their homework, as well as an opportunity to spend some time in a fun and safe place while forming relationships with our staff and their peers. And we were able to provide hundreds of snack packs to children who were forced to stay at home, facing food insecurity when schools closed due to COVID. After identifying a great need, we're working to provide Wi-Fi access to children in our community. Our prototype mesh Wi-Fi project will allow 400 children to access the internet for free for their schoolwork at home. Our campus serves as a cooling station in the heat and a warming station in the cold for many neighbors who need respite from the weather, kitchen access, running water, computer access, a cup of coffee, or friendly conversation. When the winter storm hit in February, we were grateful to have the infrastructure already in place to stay open for 64 neighbors that we served. In addition to our programming, we continue our partnerships with 13 local organizations, like Starry Counseling, who provides free virtual counseling to children in our community. The City of Paris hosted youth summer camps, where 72 children participated in fun activities, and Paris ISD brought their mobile library bus and provided lunches and breakfast bags every weekday. This means that all summer long, students could receive 3 free meals a day from our campus. This year, we hosted our first ever Halloween drive-through trick-or-treat. Over 150 neighbors received to-go Thanksgiving meals, and over 200 Christmas dinners were served to go as well. Our women's coffee group holds weekly Bible study, and Girl Scouts, Young Life, Divine Interpretations, Wheeled Workers, and Texas Inmates Family Association utilize our campus for their meetings. We are a satellite campus for Parrish Junior College Adult Education, offering GED registration, orientation, and ESL courses. Today, we want to express our gratitude to so many who continue to join us in fighting poverty in Paris with their financial donations, volunteering their time, mentoring an elementary student, or by simply cheering us on. Join us as our organization grows with our core values of community, faith, justice, and stewardship. Life changed, but our mission did not, because community never stops. any questions, and I would invite everyone here in the audience as well to come to our facility anytime.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kirby.
Maggie, I got just one
Oh,
quick
one
question. I'm
question?
sorry. You had mentioned, and just out of curiosity, you had mentioned scholarships. Approximately how many scholarships you guys give out annually?
I believe this summer it totaled about $600 in scholarships. I'm looking to our program director there to solidify that.
That's great.
Maggie, you're talking about summer youth scholarships, right?
Yes,
For
I'm
the
sorry.
summer
Those are
programs.
only for the city-run summer youth
Awesome.
scholarships.
Just curious.
Yes.
Great program.
And Maggie, just touching on City Square, City Square's touches in one way or another, whether it's volunteerism or servicing a lot of different demographics in Paris. It doesn't matter if it's from the poorest to the wealthiest or race. It's just, it touches a lot of different demographics as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gary.
Further questions or comments? All right, Ms. Kirby, we enjoyed that
Thank you very much.
presentation. Number 4, East Texas Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse.
Good evening. Thank you very much for allowing us to come here and speak to you this evening. My name is Linda Oyer, and I'm the CEO of ECATA. And I brought with me our board member, Daryl Bruce.
Can you
Here.
move closer to the mic, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
I have with me tonight one of our board members from here in Paris, Daryl Bruce. And we just wanted to, first of all, thank you for your continued support. And what we provide to the community is substance abuse screening, assessment, referral services for adults and youth that are in need of state-funded treatment. Our counselors do the assessment and work with the individuals to make sure that they get to the right treatment, inpatient, outpatient, and that they get state funding for that. A lot of the organizations that have already presented here, some of the reasons why they have clients is because of our clients. And unfortunately, especially during the COVID months, we have had an escalation and, as you know, an epidemic of opioid abuse. But we've had such an escalation of substance abuse. In fact, the numbers that we sent in to you, I can tell you that we've already doubled them and we still have 2 more months left in our year. The numbers are going through the roof. And we have few beds in our region, which we provide 23 counties, and we only have 1 treatment center, state-funded treatment center. So we work with the individuals to get them out of our region into state-funded treatment across the state of Texas. We also provide recovery support services, recovery coaches. We also have a training center so that we can provide training services at no cost to individuals so that your county, all counties in our region, can hire recovery coaches to work with individuals. Coming side by side with a peer who's been there, been through it, and is certified and directed and overseen by a certified supervisor can help that individual to navigate all the recovery services that are available in the community services. We work very closely with the community of nonprofits and available services to get those individuals to those needed services and to break down the barriers that they have just navigating life in sobriety. We also have services that we offer where we go to tobacco providers that sell cigarettes to minors, or we attempt to prevent that from happening. What we do offer as a service is education to local vendors so that we can teach them not to allow things to come in the reach of a younger child, or how to check their ID, how to put up those preventions and check their licenses. We also have the Prevention Resource Center, and we provide the region with an annual regional needs assessment that tells you about your community and what your statistics are. This enables nonprofits to use certified data for writing for future grants. Our main grant funding comes from the state, and in order for us to pull down those state funds, we must have 5% matching funds. So the matching funds help us in order to continue to do services and pull down the dollars from the state for our region. We are the only OSAR, is what we're called, that has licensed chemical dependency counselors that does this service for our region at this time. Is there anything that you would like to say?
Yeah, if you don't mind. I'd just like to say that one of the reasons, besides being a board member, I just wanted the city council to see that somebody, a lifelong member of this community, is involved with that CADA. I have been for 10 years plus. I'm also over the juvenile probation department here. And so I'm also, I guess you could say, on the front lines and see the effects of the increase in drug use as well as abuse. And so I just, ECCADA is to my knowledge, the only organization that provides these services to this area. And so I just feel that it is essential and very important, not only as a board member, but more importantly, as a member of this community. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would there be any questions that you might have?
Mrs. Oyer, I've got a quick question
Sure.
here. From 19 to 20, I think, based on your paperwork, you guys served 111 people here in the city, and then 134 in Lamar County. Did you say you've already doubled that for 2021?
Yes, and we have
Really?
2 months left. 225 in the city of Paris, and then 250 for the county of Lamar.
And then, so you guys have an office here in the city, but then you also work East Texas, is that correct?
Yes, we have an office in Pittsburgh, and we also have an office in Longview, and 2 places in Tyler where we are. But we serve all 23 counties.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
So any funds that you'd get today, or from this, I guess from this fundraiser from the city,
Yes.
this would go to local funds, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just making sure. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
All right, awesome.
I have a question.
Yes.
I am a licensed chemical dependency counselor. I have my license for that.
Yes.
And one of the requirements is this for us to continue education on human trafficking with drug and alcohol abuse. Have y'all experienced that in Paris or any of your facilities?
Well, all of our counselors are certified as well. They had to recertify for that. Yes. But what we do is we just do that assessment and referral to state-funded treatment. We don't have a facility. We don't do treatment.
Okay.
We are the region's ones that do the assessment and referring. We work very closely with CPS, and we do a lot for them where we assess the parent, and it's a part of them being able to get into treatment and work towards reunification. So we work closely in that, but we don't have a facility where we treat anyone. We're not in treatment.
I just have a question for clarification.
Sure.
Did you say that y'all actually go into local businesses that you find or have information that are selling to minors? Is that
Selling tobacco, yes.
tobacco? Yeah. So what do you do, just real quick, just out of curiosity, because it's a huge problem, in this city, as you well know. So just wondering
Right.
what can y'all do?
Sure. What we are doing, we go in and we assess for their regulatory adherence, and we do education on their employees and teach them exactly what they're supposed to do and not do. There are certain guidelines of how far back they have to have tobacco behind the counter. We check for their licenses, and then we report to the state on every single one of those. And if there's an infraction, if an officer gives them a ticket, or they do a sting operation, then they have us come back and we re-educate and work with them again.
So you are supported by the police, local law enforcement when you do things like that?
We don't, no, we don't. We go in by ourselves because we're not the enforcement. We report it.
I got you.
And then an enforcement agency comes
I got you.
and gives the fine. Yes. Thank you.
All right, no further questions. Thank you very
Thank you.
much, Linda. And I'm sorry I didn't get your name.
Daryl Bruce.
Daryl, thank you very much. Next is Keep Paris Beautiful.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, City staff. My name is Julia Trigg Crawford. I am honored to be here tonight representing Keep Paris Beautiful, Make Lamar County Shine. So don't forget, there's two pieces to our organization. So one, we want to make this entire community prettier, cleaner, a better place to live and to visit. So I'm here tonight to ask you to help us continue our 22-year partnership we've had with you. This organization has been around since 1999, and we've had big projects that you see when you drive around the loop. The crepe myrtles that are planted are there because of Keep Paris Beautiful. Bywaters Park was renovated because we got involved. Trail to Paris, we were part of that. We also do little things. We have hosted tree trimming workshops in tandem with local garden clubs. We've brought in amazing experts from out of town. So we're asking you to partner with us again, maybe for another 22 years, but let's look at this first year. I think before you have maybe some paperwork on things we've done in the past, huge community-wide cleanup events where adult probation and youth probation and city council people and garden clubs get together. We have not had those in years. We'd like to step it up and start doing that again. We did this year continue an annual tradition of having our tree giveaways in January, where we give away 1,000 baby trees, which is amazing. An interesting tie, though, I want to tell you this. Not only is Keep Paris Beautiful part of old events that keep going, but this year we were invited to participate in the Mayor's Yard of the Month Club. And we had an unbelievable experience about 2 weeks ago. We went to congratulate someone on winning Yard of the Month, and she told us that the trees in her backyard that were 75 feet tall were trees she got 18 years ago that were this tall in coffee cans at a Keep Paris Beautiful tree giveaway. So that's the breadth of the kind of events that Keep Paris Beautiful is involved with. So we have partnered with you guys on things like Yard of the Month, with our downtown association with tree trimming workshops. We've also partnered with the county on huge tire collection days, so that's city residents and county residents, and we want to take it to another level. We have not come before you, or we have not submitted paperwork in years past for monies, but we are this year because we want to take this to a new level. We have a new board, great ideas, all kinds of things we can do. In fact, we were recently recognized by our affiliate member organization, Keep Texas Beautiful. Keep Paris Beautiful was the affiliate of the month in May out of 300 in Texas. So we've gotten the attention of the state, and we want to keep going. So I know that what we talked about, or what you're looking for, is partnership and complement. I think you can see a lot of ways we have done that. We want to do that. One of those is recycling. I mean, there's all kinds of things. So there's a lot of great organizations here tonight, all deserving of money, but we hope you will find perhaps some money in your budget to help us continue this partnership with Keep Paris Beautiful, Make Lamar County Shine. So do y'all have any questions?
The only question I have is, when's your next tree giveaway? I missed the last one.
It's in January. I'll make sure that you get some trees.
I'm going to make sure I'm not ill this time.
I will make sure you get some trees. It's cold outside that day usually, though, I'm here. Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Crawford.
Thank you.
The next organization, Lamar County Human Resources.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
My name is Shelley Brazil. I am the Executive Director of Lamar County Human Resources Council. Lamar County Human Resources Council has been serving Lamar County and the surrounding area for many, many years, since the 70s. And the organization has been many things over the years to this community. Right now, our largest programs are Meals on Wheels and Horizon House Transitional Shelter. We also have numerous other support service programs that we offer to the community, like giving away fans, heaters, blankets, our Gifts of Love program at Christmas, and many other things. So what I'd first like to do is to talk about Meals on Wheels, since our grant is maybe a little bit different than others, because we are a larger organization with 2 programs within it that we are going to be potentially spending this money on that we would receive from the city. So I'll start with Meals on Wheels. Meals on Wheels, of course, is a program that provides hot noontime meals to seniors, disabled individuals, and veterans in Lamar County and abroad. We were actually in 5 counties, so this is not the only area that we're serving. Now, a large chunk of those are actually right here in the city limits of Paris. 300 out of the 1,000 people that we serve every single day are inside the city limits of Paris, with 600 of those being in Lamar County. That hot noontime meal meets all of the daily dietary requirements that these individuals need, which is very important. I'd also like to mention that, Meals on Wheels has always been important, but during COVID times, it has become even more important because the people that we serve are the most vulnerable for this virus. And so if they can stay home instead of having to go out to eat or go to the grocery store or whatever it is, then that is so important. I'll also say that we saw a need, and the more people we could keep at home last year, the better. So we did eliminate all of our eligibility guidelines with the exception of the 60 and over guideline. So that meant they didn't have to meet an income guideline. They did not have to do a needs assessment. If they called us and said they needed a meal and they didn't want to go out in public because of COVID, then they got a meal from us. Of course, that meant we needed to find more money, but we were able to do that, and the city was part of that as well. In addition to Meals on Wheels, we have Horizon House Transitional Shelter. So for those of you that aren't familiar, it is what used to be New Hope Center of Paris. I will give a little history lesson here in a minute, but I would like to just start with what the shelter offers. So transitional shelter is a place where someone can go for up to 2 years. It is different than many shelters because when you think of a shelter, you think of emergency shelter, and that's some place that somebody may just be staying for a night or two while they make arrangements or get back on their feet. But a transitional shelter actually is a program that they stay in for up to 2 years, where we help them gain the tools and the resources that they need to never have a repeat occurrence of homelessness. So in addition to that, we also provide them Rewired training, which is for drug and alcohol. We also provide setting healthy boundaries, anger management, and many other programmings that are just part of that process of them learning how to be a positive member of our community. We also require that they work if they are physically able to. And we also teach the gift of volunteerism to all of our clients. So even those that work volunteer, and the ones that cannot work, they still volunteer. We can always find something for them to do in the community that fits within their accommodations. So with that said, I'd like to give kind of a little history lesson on how we came to take over Horizon House last year. So the organization was needing additional funding. And because of some of their barriers and restrictions, we felt, a group of us felt that it would be good for us to take over because we did not have those same restrictions. So we stepped up and took over the shelter. And since then, we are exceeding capacity for the number of people that we are housing on a nightly basis. Right now, we have 38 people, 8 of which are children. And that's been pretty consistent in the last 3 or 4 months, that we've stayed over 30 people every single night. So, it was something that we really felt that we needed to do because it was so important that this program continued to function in our community. We are the only family shelter in this region that does men, women, and families. So if somebody is a family and they need a shelter, they would have to go to Dallas if we were not open. I would also like to mention regarding the funding, I certainly understand and appreciate, I love policy, so I love the new policy, but it does mean something different for us than other people. Prior to this, Meals on Wheels was receiving funding from the City of Paris, and New Hope was receiving funding from the City of Paris. And so with this restriction of $15,000, that would be an almost $10,000 shortfall combined between the two programs if we were not to receive that amount of money. So we are asking for the full $15,000, but I did just want to mention that it's not separate anymore, so it's a little bit weird and it may be unlike other nonprofits. Was that my timer? Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
If you have any closing remarks,
Okay,
you
sorry.
have time.
No, I'm okay. But I would be happy to answer any questions.
Well, I'm familiar with both the Meals on Wheels. I work with the organization where we had to pick a day to go deliver the meals. And,
Yes.
and I'm gonna be honest, I did not want to do it. I was told I had to do it. But once I got out there and we went
Yeah.
to some of the elderly retirement centers,
That's
that
right.
is the most fulfilling. I mean, I wanted to go every time
Yeah.
because it's so fulfilling to look at their faces when you hand them those meals. And with the transitional shelter, I actually did my internship, my master's internship, when it was New Hope.
Oh,
And
wow.
I actually was helped transition to the new building. And so, and I do know a lady that was there, she was homeless and had kids, and she actually went to school and got her degree, and she's now a social worker. So, but she
She's
came
my
with
case
nothing.
manager. Yeah.
Yes, so
She
it's
is.
amazing, the transition. It's not people just being homeless and don't want to do anything in life. They just need a break in life, and I commend y'all for that.
Thank you very much. And that's a really great point. Yes, Natalie loves to tell her story, and she's an amazing case manager, and she did live there at the shelter, went and got her master's degree, and she now works there. So that is a huge success story. Anything else?
Thank you, Ms. Brazil.
Thank you, guys.
Hope your Baylor Bear is doing well.
Oh, he is doing great. Thank you.
Number 7, Lamar County Humane Association.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing us to speak. I'm Keith Flowers. I'm the president of the board of Lamar County Humane Association. I've got with me Leandra Mahan, who's our vice president, Dr. Wally Kraft, who partners with us, and Dr. O'Brien's back in the back of the room. I'm kind of going to give you just a little brief history of what we do. We partner with the Lamar County Humane Association. We received our 501c3 status in 1967. We partner with the City of Paris in several different ways. Most of you probably know we have an office at the animal shelter. We have an employee there 40 hours a week. The City of Paris provides food for the animals. There's no money in the City of Paris budget for, if an animal comes in that's injured, it's Lamar County Humane that we provide the vet care for the animal. When a dog or cat comes into the shelter, we give it vaccinations upon intake. We do a kennel cough and either a 5-way or 7-way vaccine for a dog. We do a vaccine for a cat. We came before City Council with Chief Hundley several years ago to get that approved. That's been very successful in eliminating kennel cough and different diseases that go through the shelter. So another thing that we do, we're responsible for all the outgoing animals of the shelter. We typically do about 2,200 animals a year. We do a combination of local adoptions. We do rescue runs to Canada. We do fostering. We have greatly almost eliminated the euthanasia rate at the shelter. Now, to the SNP event, to the SNP program, the SNP program was actually started by the City of Paris and former Mayor Pro Tem Sue Lancaster, and I think Sue worked with Dr. Kraft about 10 years ago. So this was Dr. Kraft and Councilwoman Lancaster's brainchild. It is kind of, the city was the first agency to invest in this. We have now, with Dr. O'Brien, Dr. Kraft, and our board, we went to Lamar County Commissioner's Court and got the county to buy in. We've got Reno to buy in. I think we've been very successful doing this. To give you kind of an outline of what it is, we do 4 SNP events a year. We typically do them at the Coliseum, at the fairgrounds. We offer low-cost spay-neuter vouchers to any citizen of Lamar County for $30. All the remaining cost, which is $100 per animal, comes from money that we get from the city, we get from the commissioner's court, we get from the other cities, and the vets have worked with us and give us a really good deal on this. And we typically do about 400 to 450 SNPs a year because of this. We have been able to, I think Dr. Kraft will agree, we've seen a great reduction in the number of animals that he sees, that the local vets see in their practice, that we see come through the shelter. If you look at this handout, I've got a whole bunch of small print stuff on the back, but the most telling image is the image on the front. You've got one cat that's unspayed. One cat in 16 months equals 52 cats. So you want to, we'll turn it over to you, Wally.
The program has been extremely successful, I can tell you, and we're trying to keep puppies off the streets. That's the biggest thing we're trying to do. It's been a real successful program through the Humane Association. I will also tell you that one thing I do, and I think most of the other veterinarians do, is if any animals are ever injured at night, the police department can call me and I'm happy to see them. I don't charge a dime to the city for that. And I mean, I'm happy to provide that. I live here, it's my community, I want to provide something for them, and so I'm happy to do that. We also work, I can tell you the Highway Patrol called me 2 weeks ago about an injured animal. So we see those. I want you to know we try to give back to the community. But this SNPs program has been amazingly successful. It honestly has been. I mean, I can't tell you how we've reduced the number of puppies that used to run on the streets. I mean, this year, thank goodness, okay, excuse me, we only had 2 boxes of puppies on my front door, okay? So that usually comes several times a year where we get 5 or 6 pups. They just bring them in and dump them. But it's okay. We can take care of that situation, but we've done a tremendous job reducing the number of stray dogs that are running on the streets. And I hope this program continues and we do a good job doing this. We always run out of money, I can tell you, and we felt like it was our job this year to get the county and also the other cities to support this. We've also been to Blossom, by the way, talk to them about it. Everybody needs to be part of it, because I can tell you, we're not trying to hide this fact, but most of the spays we do are not in the city, they're in the county. I mean, that's where most of our SNPs go. Isn't that right, Keith? So,
we started keeping up with the numbers of city versus county. It's about 60% in the county, 40% in the city. So we use those numbers to get the Commissioner's Court to buy into it, to get the city of Reno to buy into it. We actually got the county to buy into the program last year. So they're partnering with us very well. For the last few years, the city's given us $15,000 toward this program. We're asking for the same $15,000 again this year. What we have typically done, we have a lot of expenses. Like, we run 2 vans a month to Canada carrying animals from the local shelter to keep them from getting euthanized. Was that us or something?
Go ahead.
But what we have typically done, we don't turn anybody away when the money runs out. Our fundraising, our private fundraising that we do for the Humane Association, we go ahead and fund. We don't say there's a limit on the number of SNPs. If we've got funding, like the $15,000 that we're asking y'all for would fund 214 SNPs. We do in excess of 400. Typically, we're pulling about probably $15,000 to $20,000 out of the Humane Association budget to help so we don't turn people away. Does anyone have any questions?
Just wanted to say one thing. I know the dedication you guys have to your craft, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
This community really needs this program, and you guys have run a really tight ship, and I just appreciate that.
Thank you.
one thing we have tried to do is this feral cat program that I wish we had off the ground a little bit better. We know about it. We really do, you know, and I'll tell you, it's one of the things we would like to do is we're actually going to trap feral cats, spay and neuter them, and turn them back out again. I don't know whether you know, but that's a pretty good program, to be truthful with you. But now, we've talked about it. I'll assure you, it's on our radar.
We've actually started. The problem is getting somebody trapping a feral cat, if you haven't tried, it's not the easiest thing in the world.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flowers, and all of you.
They're all over my neighborhood. Yeah. We trap them all the time.
They're good. Number 8 is the Paris Optimist Club.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to come speak tonight. I am Sabra Vaughn, and I'm the executive director of the Paris Optimist Club. And locally, we're known, I said Paris Optimist, that's how we're known locally.
Click that to the slide.
Okay, all right. That's how we're known locally as Paris Optimist, because there's no longer a noon optimist, so we're actually, the Breakfast Optimist is our legal name.
And would you give your name again,
Oh,
please?
yes, Sabra Vaughn. And quite honestly, what I was going to speak about doesn't go exactly with the presentation. And this is going to be really quick. We were established in 1957. As far as baseball, we started baseball in the 1970s because the Boys Club, which was backed by the Noon Optimist Club, had limited fields, and so kids had to try out for the teams, and we felt like that everybody ought to get to play. So we worked with the city at that time and played on fields at Culbertson Park. And so as that program grew, we actually talked about with the city to increase those, but the city wasn't able to at the time. And so we were granted property by the Woodall family where we're located now, and we built 2 fields. And that was all done with volunteer labor. And so I'm going to go really quick through this. We have 23 acres of land. You can see these were the first 2 fields that were done. You can see we've tried to keep them updated. We now have the bleacher covers. And we've had field 3, field 4, 5, 6, and now 7 fields. And all of that has been done by the club, saving up money, buying a little more land and improving it, saving up club money and improving it. We have the picnic pavilions, equipment, and we have a contractor for our grounds. We have the meeting room facility, batting cages, and our parking lot. And you can see that the one end of our parking lot is not paved, and it is used in the spring. We have our remote parking. That's where we saved up money. Again, our last capital purchase was the actual Woodall truck stop property, and so that's just a gravel field. So anyway, our mission as Optimist is to be the friend of youth and, to train those kids. So that's just kind of a quick overview, our board of directors. So the baseball complex, like I said, is owned by us. We are the only complex in Paris that provides recreational baseball. And we're the only complex in Lamar County that can provide the regional state tournaments. And those tournaments are the ones that teams come in from out of town. And this last year, we held 3 district tournaments and 4 of the regional state tournaments, and we always poll our coaches, and they tell us, whether they're commuting, if they're so close, or whether they're driving in from out of town, and we do a little estimation on the number of nights, and all that, and we came up with the number of rooms, hotel rooms, that were room nights was about 500 for our tournaments this year. And so, we feel like that helps. I know that helps y'all with the tax revenue. And of course, we like to have people come into Paris. We like to have the tournaments. It helps our local families to be able to stay here and not have to travel. The City of Paris Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Master Plan mentions specifically baseball with the Optimist Club, and talks about that the city needs to work closely with the Optimist Club to provide even more, it's quote, even more and better baseball opportunities for the youth. Since we do own it, again, maintaining and upgrading the facility falls to us. A lot of the Dixie Youth baseball programs in other cities are actually city-owned parks, and so they don't own it. The city does the maintenance, but that's not the case with us. We own it. We have a year-round groundskeeper contract. We have year-round utilities, things that people don't think about other than just baseball. Over the past 4 years, with the help of the city, and thank you, we've been able to upgrade our ballpark, with the bleacher covers. We've put in new fencing and dugouts on 3 of our fields. We have new scoreboards on 5 fields. We've done some preventive maintenance on our parking lot, and upgraded restroom facilities, things as that. we're proud of those, but there's a lot more to do. Obviously, we some point would like to have a full paved parking lot. On the north end of our complex, that's actually where the youngest players play, which is 3 through 6 year olds, and there's not a restroom facility on that end. And so we would, at some time, one of our big wish list items would be to be able to put in a restroom for them. We always, again, maintenance is ongoing. These buildings are older. We always have leaks and plumbing problems. So we're requesting $10,000 this time for the $35,000 that's needed to replace the fencing and dugouts on our Field 3. And that's one of the ones I showed you, and that fencing is the same that's been there since 1989. One of the things that we're really proud of is that in 2020, we were the only youth sports organization that didn't just cancel because of COVID. We just kept saying, we're on hold, and we actually were able to provide that for the kids in late summer of 2020 when the governor recognized, that we could, and we're really glad that we were able to do that. This year, we've had 650 kids in the spring, about 50 buddy baseball players who are those that have disabilities, and right now we have 250 in fall ball. So I know we go on and on about all this. We do have some fundraisers and all that, but right now, to date, we are at a $15,000 deficit of baseball program expenses and facility expenses versus what we bring in on baseball fees, the advertising, and fundraising. So that's a usual thing for us. We've had to go into reserves and ask for people, grantors, and we appreciate yours, and that's why we're asking for $10,000 this time.
Any questions for Ms. Vaughn?
I do. Yes, ma'am. Ms. Vaughn, of all the youth that you guys serve, what percentage are little girls?
Oh, I do not have those figures. It is growing. Mm-hmm. It is growing. I do not have those demographics. I'm sorry. We do, there are softball programs at the city and at like Chisholm. There's a couple of softball programs, but a lot of the girls want to play with the boys, or they have siblings. That the parents want them at the same. And I don't know if you've been watching the World Series, the Little League World Series, but the Texas team has a girl on there, and she's doing great. We welcome the girls to come play with us.
Thank you.
Isn't it Abilene? Is it Abilene?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Any other questions?
Thank you
Ms.
again for
Vaughn,
the
very much.
opportunity.
All right. Next is safety.
Good evening. I'd like to start off by thanking and applauding all the nonprofits. Thank you for what you do for the Paris people and the citizens and residents of North Lamar. Thank you very much. This nonprofit world can be tough at times. I'm Charla Bowen, and I am the Director of Counseling for Safety Crisis Center. I'm very fortunate to have one of the best advocates, not only in Paris, North Lamar, but in the state of Texas, Ms. Gabby Harwell. She's here with us tonight. And then we also have our therapy dog, Georgia. Safety Crisis Center is located at 1249 Lamar Avenue. We're requesting funds to support solely the Paris office through supplies and staff. Safety staff, we are a 24/7 on call. For instance, Gabby's sitting there right now. If she was on call and she got an SA or a DV call, she would leave immediately and go to one of the hospitals here and stay as long as need be. So that is certainly a ministry in itself, being on call. One thing is, I was doing my introductions, I forgot to say that Ryan Shriver, our executive director, he was unable to be here tonight, so I'm kind of the substitute. We also provide emergency shelter. Even though our shelter is in the Mount Pleasant area, we provide funding in Lamar County area for emergency shelter when needed. We also provide counseling and legal services for our Lamar County people. We go to PRMC and Quality ER when a victim presents at one of those ER rooms for a sexual assault exam, and all the staff have to go through a 40-hour training that was designed through the Attorney General's office. We work very closely with Texas Association Against Sexual Assault and then Texas Council on Family Violence, and to make sure that we're continue that accreditation, and we just don't send someone out without adequate training to go out on the SA calls. And we also go out on DV calls too. Another thing is we follow the methodology of trauma-informed care and trauma stewardship. We know that not only are survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault, but also our staff members. This is hard work, and so we really, through counseling and through Georgia, our therapy dog that we've just implemented, we try to also make sure that we give our staff time to kind of revisit and get refreshed and process some of the trauma that they work through with our clients. This year through 2020 for Lamar, we served 751 clients. That's even more clients that we served in Titus. Right now, we're at 667 for this year, so it looks like we're going to go, unfortunately, surpass our 751 that we had for the 2020 year. COVID hit the domestic violence and sexual assault world hard. And I just really could, as even the non-profits behind me, you can't just stop working. You just have to continue to work, and just so proud for our staff at Safety, because we kept our doors open. Now, grant you, sometimes our doors were open virtually, but we continued to go on those SA calls. We continued to have people in our shelter. At some point, whenever we even transitioned our shelter to a hotel and continued to serve those clients. So our doors are never closed. We work really well with Lamar City departments. We work with the police department, and we also have a really good hotline that Ryan, who is our executive director, our hotline for people who may be out of minutes on their telephone. Well, then they're able to text. So we've implemented the texting. We've also, as I said before, we've implemented online intakes. And then for those who still want face-to-face services, we're still able to provide face-to-face services. Again, we're requesting $8,000, and we want that to go exclusively to the Paris office, to the Paris staff, to the Paris clients. And for what that will do, that will leverage the state, and I see my 5 minutes is up, I hear my watch buzzing. That will leverage the state and federal funding that we receive, so we can generate whenever we have some general funds for emergency uses, or it will free up some things that people might need in the here and now. So that would give us a lot of leverage if you were so kind to provide the $8,000 that we're requesting. Again, I thank you for your time. I can't give it back to you. It's been a wonderful opportunity to have this privilege to speak with you. You may wonder, what is someone from Titus County coming and speaking to Paris residents? But it's because of Paris that I am a counselor. I was very fortunate 10 years ago that Dr. Claire Haslam took me in under her wing, and so I spent 3,000 hours just working under her and learning from her. And not only was she just a very great professional colleague of mine, she was also one of my best friends ever. And so if I can just do just a little bit of what Claire did for Paris and Lamar, it would just be the biggest blessing ever. So thank you very much. Questions?
Tell me your name again, please.
Yes, I'm sorry. In my nervousness, I probably didn't even say it. It's Charla Bowen.
Ms. Bowen, thank you. Any questions of Ms. Bowen?
Is it for just sexual abuse and assault, or just abuse as well?
No, it's for We do sexual assault, which under sexual assault, you have rape and you also have sexual abuse, and then we do family violence. And our definition of abuse is not only physical abuse, it's also emotional, psychological, verbal, financial abuse. So it's a whole spectrum of abuse. And one thing that's in your report that I didn't mention, we honor everyone's truth. The only thing that we're not gonna drill them, we're not gonna interrogate them, we're gonna honor through a trauma-informed care approach. We're gonna honor their truth. They just have to be willing to disclose their story with a trained advocate for an intake, and then we provide them with all the free services that they want.
So do you offer this to men and women, or just women?
Yes. Research tells us that 1 in 4 women will experience some type of intimate partner abuse, and then 1 in 7 men will experience some type of intimate partner abuse. And then sexual assault, the statistics are pretty much the same with sexual assault. I can't recall those offhand, and I would be afraid to quote with the days of Google, because you could Google me immediately and prove me wrong. So I think but it's pretty close. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bowen.
Thank you for your time.
Next, Salvation Army, please.
Good evening. I'm Major Guy Watts. Only been here a couple months, but I'm familiar with the history of some of the people who come before me. My spiritual mentor, Major Neil Keaton from 1953, and Tex Ellis from about 16 or 15 years ago. My wife was unable to come tonight. She's actually working in the kitchen, serving meals as we speak. This year, the Salvation Army will celebrate 125 years serving Paris and Lamar County. In the last 125 years, the Salvation Army has served over 1 million people in this community. And part of that is due to the Richard Amos Foundation, which totally redid our kitchen. That's through First Federal Bank. And we are so grateful for that renovation, because without that renovation, we would not be able to serve the number of people and the quality of service that we provide. And I'd just like to share a story with you. When we give out the meals, we tell people, God bless you. And we had this one gentleman who was diabetic. He said, no, God bless you, because I'm a diabetic, and I'm also diabetic myself. And I know you have to eat regularly. If you don't eat on a regular schedule, you can get sick and die. So that really just touched us in a very special way. And the Salvation Army is requesting $15,000 for the purchase of food. We do get some foods free and through food bank and stuff. However, there are people who have special diets, and nutritious food is not cheap. I mean, you can go to McDonald's, get a cheap cheeseburger, but if you're going to buy good quality, nutritious food that some people have because they have a restricted diet, those foods can be very pricey. Any questions?
Just wanted to say welcome, and your services are very much needed in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, and looking forward to having you in our community.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And my goodness, congratulations on being here 125 years. That's very impressive.
Yes. Since 1896.
All right. Major Watts, thank you very much, and
Thank
welcome
you.
to Paris. Number 11 is United Way.
Good evening. Thank you for having all the nonprofits here tonight and listening to everyone's stories and all the wonderful work that's done here in Paris, Texas. I am Jenny Wilson. I'm the Executive Director of the United Way of Lamar County. And we've been in Paris since 1943. You have us beat there, Salvation Army. And this is the first time, I think, as far as I'm aware of, that the United Way has ever come and asked for funds from the city of Paris. For most of our 78-year history, we have been where you are sitting tonight, actually giving out funds rather than requesting funds. But 2020 changed everything and everybody, and it also changed the United Way. So in March of 2020, when the world was shutting down and everybody was staying home and out of work, we realized that we needed to go to the front lines. And we opened up a crisis fund. That fund raised $70,000 from individuals in our community. We spent all of that $70,000 on rent and utility assistance. About $50,000 went to rent and about $20,000 went to utility assistance. As 2020 came to a close, we thought that we were going to get to step out of the direct assistance business, but we realized we were the only ones in all of Lamar County doing rental assistance. And that if we did not continue to do rental assistance, there were going to be people without a home. And so we budgeted that. We budgeted $50,000 for 2021. As 2021 started, we realized we also could not quit utility assistance. There is basically, other than some very generous churches, one other nonprofit in town doing utility assistance, and that's Co-Ministry. And they're open with very limited hours, with limited vouchers, limited companies they could work with. And you'll see from the spreadsheets I put on your desk that we work with them quite a bit. The reason I put those spreadsheets in front of you tonight is because when we wrote this original application, you can see our numbers were very different. If you look at the rental assistance spreadsheet, you can see I started off the year dividing up $50,000 by each month, and then I would have $4,167 to give out each month. You can see that I very quickly went over budget. In fact, in August, as COVID reared its ugly head again, you can see we gave out more rental assistance than we ever have. I don't ever tell anybody we're out of funding. Our rental assistance program is done by application. It is based on rent affordability and rent sustainability, which means you have to show you're going to be able to afford your rent and keep paying it. We only help once. You can see from that spreadsheet, we've helped 62 families stay in their home so far this year. We prioritize homes with children and the elderly. We don't want to see any family be put out on the streets. With our utility assistance, we do almost all of that over the phone. We've helped almost 200 families this year. That is not an application process, but we do use Charity Tracker, and we really try to only help a family once. Not once a year, but once. Because our entire program is based upon, we want to be a helping hand up and not a hand out, and that we don't want to create dependency. So we're really trying to help those families that had a bad month, that maybe lost their job, that had to take a 14-day quarantine. We had families last year, I remember there were several that both mom and dad worked at the same company, and they both had to take that 14 days without pay. Hourly workers are not like salaried workers. When they take 14 days off, they do not get a paycheck. It is our belief that we are going to keep going with this program as long as it's needed. We do not want to see any family living without running water, without electricity, without heat, without AC. And we know it's more than just financial stability. We know that it also affects things like education. Last year, Paris ISD called me. There was a family with 3 children. They were virtually learning, and they hadn't checked in about over a month. They called and they found out the mother could not afford the electric bill. So we helped them, and it was over $600. And we had to pay that because those kids had to do virtual learning. I had a call from a mom today, and I got to tell her that we had accepted her application for rental assistance. She included in her application a handwritten letter and a photocopy of her husband's obituary. He had died July 23rd, and she had 3 children, and she didn't know how she was going to pay the rent. I had another call. In fact, I printed out your utility assistance spreadsheet this morning when I got to the office, and we gave out nearly $1,000 more in utility assistance just today. The phone rang off the hook. But one mother really stuck with me. She had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and her husband had just been sentenced to 20 years in prison. And when I told her we were going to pay her electric bill, it was $195. She started to cry on the phone. So we are asking for the first time for $15,000. We want to be able to continue this program. I'm lucky. I'm going to wrap it up. I just want to say I'm lucky that I have a wonderful board who lets me break policy all the time. Shelley hates that. Because if I stuck to our policy, there would be families out there without a home or without running water or without electricity. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
Thank you.
Number 12, the Wheeled Workers of Lamar County.
Scroll down, or how do you want to do so?
All right, thank you. Hello, City Council. My name is Don Yarbrough. I'm the founder of Wheeled Workers of Lamar County and executive director of the same. And I have with me my assistant executive director, Tagsley Scroggin, and Sonny Reitman is my digital media tech. And I would like to present to you today who we are, what we do, where we do it, and how we do it, and all the whys and wheres about that. And show you the size and scope that we have planned. Wheeled Workers of Lamar County, we are an environmental activist organization, nonprofit, registered right now with the Secretary of State. And our mission is to fight litter pollution, and by creating and implementing clean land initiatives that will discourage littering, incentivize recycling, proper waste disposal, and educate the public on environmental justice. So what our goal is to de-incentivize littering and incentivize recycling through putting programs in place that will make that happen. And I will get to those programs here in a little bit, if I can figure out how to do it. Okay, there it goes. Okay, what is a wheeled? Wheeled in Old English, in general terms, it means the forest or the wilds. In general terms, it's the focal point of our work. Our niche is collecting litter and pollution in the hardest to get to areas that are most commonly overlooked and often ignored. And that being the high grass, the tangled briars, the seemingly impenetrable fortress, ditches, ravines, creeks, high water, muck and mud, through thick forest underbrush. We get into it all. Because it's not just a simple matter of just picking up the trash that's right there at your feet. No, mostly when people litter or they illegally dump, they throw it out into the forest. And so out into the forest is where we got to go, because that's where, sight unseen, if they can hide it, that's where they can put it. And so we go in there and we get that. Our current litter control target areas, we schedule weekly cleanup events for the following areas. Now we do this weekly, not one time a year. City street rights of way, public parks, Trail to Paris, Northeast Texas Trail, Reno Rail Trail, Lake Crook Park, which is really obscene when it comes to pollution. Both the north and the south boat ramp areas remain pretty nasty out there, and that takes an incredible amount of work. Pat Mays Lake State Park recreational areas, heavily polluted vacant residential lots, and that's a big problem in Paris. So if we can, whenever we're doing city streets, we pass a vacant lot, we get into the lot and we clean it out. If we can get to it with all the brush and the briars, and we'll get into the brush and the briars anyway. We're not afraid of that. And undeveloped forested acreage within the city limits, such as Northwest Graham Street in the woods over there, that's privately owned. Cleaning out all the illegal dump sites that's within that area, and other areas as such. So environmental justice is social justice. Pollution affects every aspect of human life. It decreases the quality of animal and human life. It diminishes the health and sanitation of our living conditions, mostly impacts the low-income and economically disadvantaged members of society. Pollution just encourages and invites more pollution by accumulation. It deteriorates mental health as far as depression and anxiety and a decreased level of mood within that collectively within that neighborhood. And invites potentially harmful animals and insects. And polluted neighborhoods means more police presence through the broken windows theory. Now, what is the broken windows theory? The broken windows theory of policing, when I was in PJC and I took a criminal justice class, this was the very first thing, the most thing that popped into my, that stayed with me the whole time. It is criminal justice 101 type of stuff, guys, and this is what the police are trained on in their academies as well. According to the broken windows theory, just as a building with one broken window is vulnerable to additional vandalism, a neighborhood with visible signs of minor disorder, such as graffiti and littering, is vulnerable to criminal invasion. It's the same concept with a polluted area. Psychologically, if you find a polluted area, you're just going to throw your pollution there. You're going to litter there even more because it's already there. Versus someplace that's not clean, and you'll have to think twice before you throw something down because somebody might see you. So it's a psychological thing, and also environmental justice thing. Here's a look at our volunteers. Our volunteers are outstanding. Here's two of my wheeled workers right here with me, and they are outstanding. They work long hours in the heat, walking long distance. On city streets, we can cover about 20 city blocks at one time. Okay, and we are an organization about results. So during June, we targeted 13 areas for cleanup. We collected 13 days of the month. We worked 32 hours, and we collected 42-gallon trash bags. That's roughly 13,319 pounds. In July, we targeted 13 areas, same thing, but we worked 40 hours and 0.85 hours that month, and we collected 33 trash bags equaling 11,391 a month. And here's a breakdown. We do collect data. So this is our data for June, which is our total hours. July, our total hours, and all the places that we have targeted each month. And this month for August, for this month we have reached 26 hours, over 26 hours, and we've collected 1,449, but we still have 2 more days to go, so that's going to increase. We are so much more than picking up trash. Our future programs include Camp and Clean at Pat Mays Lake State Park, creek crawls, woodland meditation workshops, neighborhood anti-litter watch campaign, recycling education seminars, a wheeled workers day labor program that I hope that will also involve Horizon House and City Square. We'd like to get you involved in that. Roots and Shoots program by the Dr. Jane Goodall Institute for Our Education System. Volunteer appreciation days, and offer official community service hours for the probation office, rehabilitations, and other government and private organizations in town that need community service hours. And so, therefore, if it's not us, then who? No, our type of work has not been done by anyone before us. It will probably not be done by anyone by us. And that's the reason why Wheeled Workers of Clark County is absolutely vital to the sanitation, condition, and quality of life of our environment and community. And of course, how to become a wheeled worker. We have a Facebook page. Just log in there, and ways to donate through GoFundMe and by mail. And so therefore, thank you for this time. Is there any questions I can answer?
I'd just like to say that I appreciate what y'all do, because I did a Bible study a few weeks ago, and it was basically about being a good steward of the earth. And while I was preparing for that, there's no way that I couldn't, every time I would prepare, I would think about what y'all do. And y'all are the epitome of being a good steward of the earth, so I appreciate what you do.
Thank you. Now, we did present to you a good sizable request, okay? At the time, I was not aware that there was going to be a cap. But you said what, a third of the budget or something like that? So I created a budget, and it was pretty sizable. Okay, but with that being said, then we do want to ask for the full amount of $15,000, if at all possible, because as you see with the paperwork that I gave you, the budget there, the third page, in order to do this kind of work on the scale and the depth that we do, we need mobility and hauling ability. And right now, I'm just using my personal SUV, and I'm tearing out the inside of that thing. So we at least need a truck. So, I mean, you know, so that first one right there, if we could get that, that would be absolutely awesome. But maybe, you know, that's 11,500 or something like that. But, you know, if we can do 15,000, that can give us a little bit of overhead to keep going.
Any further questions or comments? Thank you very much, Mr. Yarborough.
Thank
and
you.
your assistance. All right, Mr. Path.
Yes. All right, you've heard a lot of very good presentations tonight, and so with that, the process now turns to this council can now discuss amongst yourselves what you've learned tonight, if you so, and discuss different presentations, thoughts. At the end of that, I would then ask that you then take that scorecard and rank it from 1 to 12, highest priority to lowest priority for you, 1 being highest, 12 being lowest priority. Please put a number on every spot. That will help us as we try to calculate this. Don't leave spots blank. And then from that, I would then ask you to give us a 20-minute recess while we go and add it all up, and then I'll bring it back to you. What I will do is I will give each of you a copy of the order. That way you see what's coming ahead as you're discussing each one. And again, per our policy, you will need to vote on in order each one, yes or no, going down that order. And we can't skip ahead or skip around, and we have to go in order of that. And you can, as was discussed earlier, you can recommend to your fellow council members a lower amount once we get to that item there too. So at this point, I will answer any questions. Otherwise, I'll turn to you to discuss, and then you can score.
Opportunity to raise a point of order without being arrested. We took 4 minutes on, I just like.
You needed to do that during the public forum, Mr. Bush.
What?
You needed to do that during the public forum. I'm sorry.
Our director was not here. She had information that Ms. Stigall didn't have. That's okay. I just think it's great, but I do think it's great what is happening here. This is the most exciting meeting I've been in years. To see what everybody in one way or another is trying to focus on people and guide y'all in how to distribute it.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Bush. It's very impressive, the giving community that we have. And I drive Mr. Path crazy when I say I don't need a budget, I need more money. That doesn't work with the way city, local government works. All right. How do we want to start this conversation? Just start with Ms. Stone and work down? Or you just...
So when you say talk amongst ourselves, are you talking, how can we do that here? Do we need to go back?
No,
Okay.
it's all done open session. And
Okay.
so you just need to just speak into your microphones to each other and share your thoughts. But yeah, it's all have to be done in open session, yes.
Okay. Just wanted to know.
Okay,
Can I just... It's going to be a tough call. I think, for my own self I look at first vulnerable children and families, and, you know, that's the way I start for the number one positions. Ms. Stone, you want to start, Ms. Stone?
This is like, some of the no one organization is better than the other. Everybody have their purpose in what they're doing for the community. But just in my opinion, I probably have 3 or 4, and this should be number one for me. But, you know, with the United Way, I seen the, what all they did for the community, and there's a lot of kids in those homes who the rent was due, the lights were due, water, you know, having the virtual learning thing. They served just so many people, immediate needs, not, you know, these, and most needs are immediate, and I'm not making light of any of them, but this is every day, and we see this every day. So, you know, with the United Way, they do give, but they're here asking for the first time, which is amazing as well. So, again, there's 3 or 4 of them I would want number one, but I feel like the United Way, the way they're helping fund families immediately, keeping families in homes, and turning lights on and water on, keeping water for the kids is essential.
My turn?
Sure.
Okay. So when I think of nonprofit, of course, you think your mind goes straight to charity. And when you think of charity, when you look up any definition, you come to love, help, you know, things like that. So actually, I've already done my list. I've already numbered mine because I think, as Ms. Stone said, I started thinking about who are we helping, how are we helping, and all of these organizations. When you look at them and when you're involved with these different things, you see that all of these organizations tie in one with another, every last one of them in some type of way. So when I looked at it, I just wanted to go to who are they helping. Of course, to me, people first. If you're helping people, I don't care if it's young people, older people, who are you serving? So it went to who are you serving, and then to what are you serving. So my rankings would be the organizations that are actually serving individuals or people versus some of the others. But all of them deserve money, in my opinion. I know that's going to be hard to do because we are individuals and we have our own opinions, but I've actually sit here and thought up a little plan where everybody can get some money. So hopefully that'll happen. But, you know, I'll leave it up to, I can just express my opinion and everybody else has theirs.
And I greatly appreciate all the nonprofits being here. And as Councilman Savage said, as I sat here, and as the city manager mentioned that somebody may go home without money, that hurt my heart to hear that. I would also like to find a way, if we could, to make sure that everyone got some money, because all of your organizations are extremely important to this community. I'm also, agree with Councilman Savage and Councilman Stone on, when it deals with children. As far as the city square, I mean, I've been in that area when I was working with an organization with the Boys and Girls Club of going in there, feeding the children in there. So I saw all the kids in there playing and things of that nature a couple of years ago. It may not have been City Square then, but I understand their process. I understand with the Humane Society. I mean, I've captured puppies in my neighborhood and taken them to the area so they could get donated out or adopted out, if that makes more sense. It's tough. I personally don't want anyone to leave here without something. That means you may get less than what you asked for, but we'll see how it turns out.
I know a lot of faces in here. Some of you may not know me, but I have had the privilege to work with many nonprofits throughout the last few years, and I will say it is it is tough to sit here. It's always tough to sit in front of so many nonprofits that are requesting an X amount of money. But I will start off by saying it is an unbelievable job you all put in, the effort, the time, the dedication, everything that you put into this community is amazing. And I just want to thank you for that. It's a thankless job, and I know that so many of us within our community, we all care, we all love each other, but the job that you do, the work you put in is just mind-blowing to me. I mean, I can't express it. I don't have any other words to say on that, but I just want to say, I echo everything that my colleagues have said. It is difficult. I wish we could give everyone something. I wish we could leave here with everyone getting everything that they want. But I know we've got a tough task ahead. But with that being said, I just appreciate everything you guys do, and thank you for your partnership. I wish, hopefully, this program grows and we have more. I know there's a lot of other nonprofits within our community, and I hope that no one feels discouraged. But hopefully, you keep coming back every year. This is a great program that the city's putting on, and I want to say thank you to the council and the city staff and Grayson and everyone. Thank you for doing this. This is wonderful. We need this partnership with our nonprofits and have that unity within the city and our nonprofits. So thank you.
Yeah, it was overwhelming for me to think about not funding any of these organizations. I also had my list all filled out and had tweaked some of the numbers so that everybody would get some funding. But I can't tell you how great it was to hear from the nonprofits personally up here. To read an application is one thing, and I've been around a while here, and I've worked with a lot of organizations that were represented here today. But to see and to hear the changes that have occurred through some of the organizations was quite interesting. And of course, my list has changed a little bit, but thank you so much for being here and telling your story and to us personally, as well as supporting your application. It's going to be tough, Mayor, council members.
I had the privilege a few summers ago to work on the United Way Community Review Board, and over 3 days, we listened to, I believe, 20 or 25 organizations, and that had 30 minutes. And that was dispersing $500,000, and I still didn't need a budget. I needed more money. But as an early childhood educator for 32 years, my heart goes out especially to children who are so vulnerable. And being elderly, my heart goes out to old people. I'm very fortunate. But I think like the consensus of us is that we would like to see everybody go home with a little bit for their organization. And maybe we can get that worked out with our money man here, numbers guy.
If that is the consensus, there are numerous ways of doing that, of course. You could just identify some to cut. Another way is a ratio.
Can I?
And, yeah.
With that being said, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
If that's all right. This is a suggestion. The top 5, when we get through with the ranking, the top 5 receive $13,000. That would take care of $65,000. And then the bottom 7 would receive $5,000, which would take care of $35,000 if my Detroit math is right. And that would hit the $100,000 mark.
Got 105.
With that 5.
Maybe.
And some of those are less than 10,000 requests too, and so some of them are asking for 12,000 or more. So
Right.
Well, yeah. Well, the ones that did, okay, I got you.
it depends on what the ranking is with that. So
Right. So it would all depend on the ranking.
Yeah. I mean, what I was
We
saying
could tweak it.
Well, I was saying there, you could do like a ratio. I mean, we're dealing with $140,000 here in requests, and so we could, based off their proportion ratio to that number, we could come back with a number to where no one gets everything they asked for, but they all get something. That is one option. Or you could go through and decide which one of these you would like to cut, and so they all get something. That's an option. So it's an easy math problem at that point. So
I just want everybody to leave here with something. I just do not want, and it's just me, but of course, some people may agree. I just don't want anyone of these organizations to leave out here without anything.
I think that this community is what it is because of these people and these organizations and their volunteers and their boards. It's countless hours that are put in. I know some people here are on those boards, and
Could I make a suggestion? And I mean, this is the first time we've done this publicly, correct?
Yep.
So I'm just curious if this could work and if this is abiding the rules and everything. What if we were to submit to you guys, to Grayson, to your staff, individually what we think within the 105,000 range for all of these individuals, for all these organizations, and then you guys take that back, divvy it up, or you know what I mean, average it out and see if it comes out to that. I know other boards have done that.
Yeah.
I know that takes some time, but I think it's well worth.
I may need an hour recess.
I feel like it's well worth that because, you know, publicly, I hate to publicly scrutinize. I mean, that's not right. I mean, so I do believe that everyone should get something. I mean, everyone's worked hard to come here and present. So I'm just curious, Stephanie, I mean.
Well, the only thing that I would ask from you as your lawyer is that at some point you do vote on what your final outcome is going to be.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
attorneys.
And I mean, I'm curious, I mean, even having that time to average that out and bring that to the next meeting, I mean, at least that gives you some time to do that and propose those numbers back at the next meeting or what have you, and then the board can still vote on that. But I don't want to take away from any rulings there, but I'm just throwing out some ideas that would be best serve the process. Any thoughts?
It's whatever y'all want to do. So
Well,
it's,
with that being said, does everything have to be decided tonight? I guess that's what.
it doesn't have to necessarily be decided tonight, and so I just need something to move forward with, and so.
I can decide tonight. I've been working on this for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
I've got my ideas and I've spent 105,000, sorry.
Yep.
Same.
I kind of dipped into the 5, yeah.
Yep.
I'm ready to hash it out if
Let's go.
I've got mine ranked.
So are we ranking them then and discussing them in order at that point, or are we? Because if you're looking to fund everyone, are you wanting to discuss about individually how you individually adjusting one at a time, I guess, or?
I can't get my head around it until I know the ranking as a group.
If you want to go ahead and turn your scorecards in, we'll give us a 20-minute recess and we'll go order them.
Is that okay with everybody?
Sure.
By me, here you go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yours looks nice and neat. Mine's scratch pad.
I use 3. If it makes you feel any better.
Good, it does.
Yep. Okay, so.
All right, I'm calling a 20-minute recess. We will reconvene at 7:42. Ms. Stone had to leave. It is 7:44. Reconvening the meeting. Mr. Path, you have some information for us.
Yes, I'm going to hand this out to you. the order you'll see here is the order of the ranking, after having tallied it all up. In the next column, you will see the total dollar amount that they requested. And what I've given you in the next two columns, you'll see this here is a ratio method, if you want to consider that, where I've looked at the total requests off of 105,000, 100,000 as well, and giving you a ratio method. That way, everyone, percentage-wise, is treated the same as you go through and change that. So this is one method. If you want to treat everyone the same, this is probably the only fair way of doing that. Otherwise, the next step would be to try to go through and figure, okay, in order, okay, I'll give them the full amount or give them a different amount. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give you all some time to go through that.
If I may.
Comments? Comments?
Sure. You know, after looking at this, you know, I think a lot of us reflected that, hey, we'd like to share the wealth and make sure everyone feels that love. And I like your proposal here based off of the averages of what you got.
Right.
And especially considering the 105,000.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. So,
I don't want to take all your money, Grayson, but you threw it out there as an option. So.
It's y'all's money. So.
You get what I'm saying.
I feel like that does it justice to the taxpayers and to the individuals, the organizations that actually applied, came here, presented, and I think it's a pretty fair bid.
I like it. I like option one, I guess is what we would call it.
Yes.
The 105,000.
If that is a consensus, I will read it out by entity as well, if that is a consensus so far. And if that's what you wish to do, Stephanie and I would then ask that you vote to authorize that method. So if you're good, I will read it out by entity. So.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Children's Advocacy Center, $9,375. United Way, $11,250. City Square, $11,250. Safety, $6,000. Lamar County Human Resources, $11,250. Salvation Army, $11,250. Casa for Kids, $7,500. ETCATA, $3,375. Lamar County Humane Association, $11,250. Wheel Workers of Lamar County, $11,250. Keep Paris Beautiful, $3,750. And Paris Optimist Club, $7,500. That would be a ratio off of the requested amount based off $105,000 total budget.
How does that sound? Yeah.
It doesn't quite give everyone exactly what they asked for, but it gives them something. And of course, the only issue may be if hopefully that's enough to get the item done and that you're asking for, but hopefully at least get you started. And so.
I think it's the only way to do it fairly, is the way we're doing it.
I may need to amend my policy next year.
Well,
Hopefully we don't have any unhappy customers out here. Hope everybody's
Can I
happy.
make a motion?
I'll hear a motion to approve the assessments as presented.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion regarding the city's nonprofit organization donation that we go with option one with the ratio division of $105,000.
I'll second.
Made a motion and seconded to do ratio method 1 with $105,000 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion carries 5-0. Congratulations to all of our nonprofits. I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All those in favor?